Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. Today, we focus on releasing the urge to fix others. Some of us are really good at fixing others, and sometimes it's just better to take care. Whoops, a lot of things that aren't moved out of the way here. It's okay. So, what is it? It's natural to want to solve problems, isn't it? We all do. That's what we do day in, day out as parents. We're consistently solving problems. However, it's kind of nice to be able to listen without how you're going to solve the problem, without those thoughts. The real growth happens when we support our children without fixing them. They have the answers within them. And when we can give them that loving space that they need, they will be able to show us that they can do it. But it comes from us listening without judgment, we talked about yesterday, and really understanding and connecting today. So, how do we do this and resist that urge instead of jumping in? How do we empower our loved ones to thrive? Not always easy. So, the first thing that I do when I am listening attentively, whoops, having issues moving the screen over so I can see everything. There we go. So, the first thing that I do is I self regulate. As soon as I feel a little bit off or triggered, notice your body reactions, notice the thoughts coming out up like, what are you thinking? Why did you do that? How is that going to help your child feel safe to share what it is that they want to share with you? Would you want to share with somebody that's has these comments that kind of put down? Sometimes we don't realize. So next time you're talking with your teen or your child, ask yourself, if somebody said that to me, how would I feel? Would I appreciate it? Would I would I appreciate it? Would I dislike it? Right? Would it trigger me? So it's important to think about how you feel, but as well, how does your child feel? We need to check in with them. When you've had a nice conversation and you've been able, well, a conversation, you're listening to them. So it's more of a, they're telling you stuff and you're just listening. You might want to add in a question here or a little question. I call that planting seeds of wisdom because our children need to develop their critical thinking. We talked also yesterday about before 7, not much of that is happening. We can help. Everybody's emotional progress depends on many different aspects. Generally speaking, from 8 on, your child is able to use their critical thinking. They don't need us to tell them. And even little ones. My daughter knew what she wanted when she was 2 years old. She wasn't even 2. She brought the chair up to the stove and I said, "Well, what are you doing?" It was a gas stove. So I was like, "Oh, what are you doing, honey?" No, no, no. She says, "I'm going to cook." Oh, wow. Yes, but safety issues with a gas stove. I wasn't able to say hi today, to say yes to that. Today, I might have been able to say, okay, let's do it together and see and teach her the safety issues. But I would need to be there 100% of the time. because at 2, the critical thinking isn't there. She was just this little go getter, and that's who she was, still is, which is great. But I did stifle her, unfortunately, in her progress, in her growth, because of how I was. With my son as well, I stifled him because I was unable to truly listen to my children when they were young. And I kept having these comments that would put them down or would be more of a critical judgment. They were not constructive criticism at all. Today I can see that. And it came from my need to be perfect. That's who I was back then. I still go back into it every now and then. And if there's somebody saying, Christine, oh, yes, yes. And then let's snap, breathe in, tap, relax those shoulders, and exhale. That need to fix others. I think when we're perfectionists, it's a little bit more in our nature to want to do that. And it's okay. It's important to get things done well. However, if you keep doing things and you're not getting to the bottom of the issue, you're not getting it finalized, done because it has to be just so perfect, you're not going to get it done because you'll stop before you're finished, right? Because there'll always be something else that can be improved. If I had waited till I was a tech pro with this program, I would not be live right now. So I decided that done is the new perfect. And listening to my needs of sharing the ripple effect of love was more important than being perfect. Okay, I did get a few nudges. And as we talk about a few nudges, here comes Christian Mendez, Dad. Let me find the button here. Bring him up. Welcome, Christian. I'm talking about, that urge to fix our kids and what they have to say, and not even allowing them really to express fully their ideas. And I didn't add, but sometimes we just don't have that time, and that's okay. But what if we take time later on? Before go to bed 15 minutes early so you can just sit, self-regulate, and listen to your kiddos as you relax on the bed with them, as you, I don't know, sit with a book, whatever that is that you need to do.
And if you don't, start now and just do it. And if it gets sloppy and it gets whatever, just know that you're doing the right thing. And that's why you see opposition. And remember what Christine just said, it's not about it being perfect. This will allow you being centered, being more calm, for you to
Yes.
react better when they start squirming and squiggling and doing things because they're becoming more comfortable with you in a space that they did not even begin to say, oh my gosh, I can hold, I can sit, we can story time, we can book, we can just chat
Yes.
because we have been equipping them with the adult brains that we think and coordinate and adjust and live in everything, function with. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
We understand you. You're trying to get them to think in regards to how you think because that's how you get through the world. And some of you, phenomenal performers, some phenomenal people. And again, nothing is taken away from that. However, when it comes to a child, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about this yesterday,
Yeah.
before the age of 7, big amount of information that we're putting in and programming, and a lot of new parents and young parents. And we're going to open up different groups and different resources. So we're going to be there for all different steps of the way as best we can. Not
Yes.
perfect, but we're going to do these resources and equip people with passion with what you're doing.
Mhm.
Let me go ahead and rewind, because we know that we've been teaching them as we were taught, and now
Mm.
pumping the brakes, we understand, hey, I don't want to act that way anymore. And so now we're, remember, and I told you guys, performance, we're changing ourselves, we're changing our environment, we're changing how we speak, and we're going, so I will give you big wins, because
Woo!
put downs were a big tough thing for me. And so I started self-regulating, and
Mhm.
in the self-regulating before, I put them down. And now, even as I'm walking downstairs to self-regulate, I say, hey guys, those floors, because I know that that's something that's really all. I just don't want them to trip over themselves or trip over something or hurt themselves. So
Yes.
my goal is just to be mindful, but also with the tone and how I come across. So I may say it as I'm walking away, because it's so de-escalating, just like, hey, just passing by those floors, and it's bed, it's ready, get ready, let's get ready for bedtime. And so then I walk away, I self-regulate, I let them do whatever they need to, and then I come back and we start with brushing teeth, or if somebody already began, I so happy that they do, I make that comment. I
Yes.
myself, yeah. And so I myself understand, like, look at how these things are reacting and how everything is shifting from just the continuous
Yes.
practice of the self regulation.
Yes.
And it's not
Yes.
going to be perfect. And I'm not doing it perfectly. I
And
am
it's
doing
okay.
it. Yes,
And it's
I am doing
okay.
it enough to where they see it. And now they're kind of pausing a little and tapping a little, or asking a little bit, or hand gesturing me a little bit more, because I am now, remember, ABC. Here's the ABCs, right?
Mhm.
When people say, I love when people say, oh, you speak Spanish. Oh, and this was back a little bit more younger as well, especially in high school. Oh, I know how to speak Spanish too, but I only know the cuss word, all the bad words. So let's take and anyone that can relate to that thought process. Oh, I only know the bad things in whatever language you may, because these are things that are just, it's not that it's easier. Trust me, it is not.
No.
It is just funnier, and it is more humor, or it's more enjoyable for you to learn these things that are going to get impact, and you're going to be like, because you want a reaction. So let's pause and think back to the ABCs. If we ABC and we're teaching something different, and again, I say, the Spanish, I know Spanish. Well, it's only the cuss words. So understand, we know some of the Snap Tap Zap, but we also have a lot of the old programming that was the damaged or the hurt or the reasons. And again, I'm not saying it is not valid. What you go through, what you went through, what you're feeling, it is all valid. It is
Yes.
all right,
Yes.
but it is not serving you in this situation to express the love and to change and make that shift
Yeah.
to a 360 shift. And remember, we talked about not a 180. I know 180 is going the opposite way. We talk about, yeah, the
Yeah.
360 directional. And you're going, what? Yes. Where you are so in peace and love with yourself, with your environment, with everything around you, that you snap and you become, and you're ingraining yourself, and you are reprogramming yourself to have that all around, all 360 degrees of you as a new you. as a changed and evolved you.
Yes. And it's so important to just know. Oops, things are popping up. To just know that we have a choice and we get to choose every second of every day. A lot of people have a lot of opposition to that thought. Well, I didn't choose, it just happened. Well, what exactly did you do? If you're not choosing, how can I say that? If Okay, so we have a choice. We do nothing or we do something. By doing nothing, we are making a choice. We're choosing to keep things the same way. If things are not working, if you're not feeling loved in your family, if you're not feeling lovable, if you're not using your inner wisdom, if whatever all the XYZ reasons, if you're unhappy, let's keep it simple. What are you willing to do for you first? Whether you're in a beautiful relationship with the love of your life or whether you're in a divorce, you need to take care of you. And it starts, in my opinion, with self regulating. The
And
ABCs
I,
of
if I can jump in,
go for it.
I was shared this golden sun idea and golden sun. So if you guys have seen or can see the sun, okay, imagine a picture, big giant picture, and you can imagine it. And again, oh, you guys, I had to stop because I'm imagining, I really am imagining this big giant picture and the sun just
Mm,
pouring in. And
yes.
for me, my imagination is blocked a lot of used to be
Used to
because
be,
my
yes.
my my
When
my
we first
logical
met, but now, oh, it's going. You got this, Christian.
absolutely. Oh, I tell you, because a lot of people and a lot of us that use our imagination and would get maybe crazy or they would say, oh God, you and your imagination and you're going and this is something that I'm sharing that I've never shared and I didn't experience this. So if this is candid and this is exactly in real time, because now slowing down and thinking, and as I said, imagine this picture in the sun that's just because the sun keeps shining and it
Yes.
just keeps dripping into this picture, and I literally am able to visualize it and see it. And it was so hard for me to connect to my imagination, and it had been for so long. And now that I'm stepping into my imagination, I'm being transparent with you guys, and I'm bringing myself in a calm, and there's no shame, there's no nothing, because this is truly who I am. And my imagination does, I use my imagination a lot with campaigns, with thinking out of the box, with different solutions, with things like that. However, it's mostly controlled by my logic, if you will. It's more of a creativeness. So, right now, when I dare to step into and I dare to say, just imagine, and then just kind of put it out into the world and just let my imagination run, that's when I started hearing that. And I started hearing that imagination. And oh, you're just so crazy. Oh, you're always with these things. So I'm going to tell you and accept myself. And I'm telling you and I'm sharing this here and saying the transparency that those are the old programmings and old thoughts and old things that even though they've made sense up until now,
Mhm.
now you start understanding a little bit more about yourself and you will continue to. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that and just go back to that imagination. But I wanted to celebrate my win and I wanted to share that win with you folks because it truly is about small steps and you don't know where that next breakthrough, that next aha moment is going to come in. So feel
And that's
calm.
okay.
Yeah, calm and just live. So I'm not apologizing. I want to go ahead and
No,
just
no, no.
continue. No, no, just going to continue and I want to just share this. And so the share that I was saying is that golden sun that pours into you, right? And that
Mhm.
pours into it. And then as you pour that picture in it, now it's Now it's warmth level that we can, right? Not burning your lips level
No,
or
no, no, no.
spicy hot level.
Yeah.
This is a nice warmth feeling all of you and everything. And that sun, boy, that sun keeps coming and that energy is gonna keep flowing and all of that stuff. But now you're refilling yourself and now you're making time for you and you're going, this is for me. And I share this egotistical step where I started. When I get those, some of those thoughts and some of those, I just me,
Yes.
and I just let it go, and I just breathe deep,
And
and I know that there's responsibilities. I know that there's tasks. I know that there's duties. I know there's so many things that are going on, including in the outside of our inner lives.
yes.
Maybe politics, maybe finances, maybe boss, maybe divorces, maybe relationships, maybe catastrophic. It may be depressions. It may be hurts.
It
It may be
may be
something.
new relationships because we're not used to a good one. All of a sudden we met the right person and it's
Oof,
triggering us
oof.
because
That were.
we've had so many untrustworthy people in the past, right? So there's so many different aspects. And I love that you named that, Christian, because it is so important to just self regulate through it. Did you notice how I supported you when you were talking about what was dear to your heart? All I did, snap, tap, and zap. I self regulated myself. And that's how you do it with your kids. That's what listening deeply is. And then just adding one little seed of wisdom, if need be. It could be, oh, did you think of this? Or it could just be, that's very interesting. I hadn't seen it that way.
I'm
Oh, you
gonna
got
go
something
against
else?
her. I'm
Go
gonna
for it.
go against her. I'm gonna go against her,
Go
folks. I
against
say,
me.
don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm sorry. Don't
Go.
opinion. Don't bring anything. Ask them. Ask them. What could I do to make you feel better if you really want to? Or say, hey,
Yes.
hey, could you use a hug? And I'm using the could you use a hug because
Yes.
I tend to, and
Beautiful.
I've been asking for hugs, and I've been asking if I can even get a hug. And
Mm.
so what I started getting is they come up to me, and yes, I'm in this chair, right? So they'll come up to me sometimes, or different stations that I have, which I'm blessed to have, and or they'll find me and then they'll just come up and they won't say anything and they'll just hug me. And
Oh,
so this, yes,
oh,
and so this started as of the last week, and so now I'm getting I'm getting random hugs. And so I say and I share to you, just
yes.
don't, hey, how did that feel? No, no, hey, hey,
Mm,
could
yes.
you use a hug? Hey, how about a hug? Or if you're not comfortable getting a hug, love yourself more.
Yes, and it can be a
Self-regulate
high
more.
five.
It
People
can
who are
be.
not born to be touchy. I have a sister who's not touchy. She's very loving, but not touchy. So the high five will go. If you have an autistic child who doesn't like to be touched, you don't want to be imposing your hugs on them.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Maybe they'll go
Mm-mm.
for a high five, maybe just one in
Mm-hmm.
the air like this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's okay.
And
Finding
remember,
a
each
way.
one is going to be different.
Yes, finding a way to express that love. And congratulations. That is such a beautiful win. Do you see how all your efforts of the ABCs of Snap Tap Zap and reframing that you've been doing, that you have created a new habit in your home?
And you
If
have it
we
in
go
your
back,
reality.
yeah,
Yes.
just
And
a
you have
second.
it in your reality. Go for it.
If we go back to September 2024, could you imagine that?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No.
Not even
No,
imagine it. See
I
how
can't.
beautiful that
I
is?
not
I
not
want
only.
people to soak
Yeah,
that in. I want
that
everybody to
I'm gonna
soak that
highlight that. I'm gonna
in. Okay.
highlight that because if people say when a movable object right meets this force, like it's so astounding the impact that it's having, and in September we're not dealing with, or we're dealing with what we're dealing with today. So not only could I not imagine it, but it is astounding to me in regards to, and I'm highlighting it with what we said yesterday, because I am no longer that parent that scolds, that disciplines, that with I am, but not in this. And I'm not in what I expected, or what was taught to me, or things that I just disliked, but I was doing them because that's what I thought I'm supposed to do. I
Yeah.
should do.
Yeah.
That's what's equated.
Yeah.
So not only is it not even imaginable, I'm telling you, when it was bedtime, it was just like yelling. It was not screaming. It was just yelling. It was just, and more than the yelling, it was this vibe. It was just this vibe of like, you guys, you got to do this, you got to do that. Hey, you guys, I
Stress.
asked you to do this, and
It was stress,
exactly. So I'm
consistent
building it
stress.
up,
Yes. But
and the emotions.
every night,
Night, every
every
night, every
kid
night, every
would
night, every night, every
experience
night,
stress
every
from
night.
you, with you,
Yeah.
and go to bed with that. I'm certain they must be sleeping better now.
You know, my so that's another win for parents. So, oh my God, that's another win for parents, and my eyes just cry out for any parent. Know that you putting your child to bed a little bit earlier than you, that is good and great parenting. Our kiddos need as much rest and sleep, because that's also when they develop. So this happens again, 1 through 5 or 1 through 7 years old. Its biggest important thing is sleep, but also throughout their lives. And you understand, if you're only sleeping 6 hours a day, how do you feel when you sleep 8 hours a day continuously? So I'm gonna go ahead and synopsis. And it was funny that you bring that up, because my kiddos go to sleep by 8 o'clock, but they're up by seven. No, sorry, 6:45.
Mhm.
And so we've begin and know and understand that they need their rest. And yes, I could be the fun parent and let them stay up, and then let them suffer their consequences because of my actions, allowing them to stay up. And guess what? Those mornings become more difficult. And if I didn't self regulate, then my mornings can become more difficult, or
Yes,
stressful, or rushing,
yes,
or whatever.
yes, yes.
I've now the discipline to put them down, to let them, I don't even have to tell them, and they're doing it on their own, and
Really?
they're coming to me. And the mornings are still a little bit. So in the mornings, I wake them up with hugs and nudges, and just reminding them how much I love them, and that it's time for bed. If they do start complaining, which they do on Mondays, by the way, from the weekend, because we do splurge on the weekends.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, on Mondays, I say, this is why we need. Should we sleep a little bit earlier tonight? And so they say, oh yeah, because remember, when we sleep at the right time, then we don't feel like this, right? And so I allow them to, but again, at the beginning, it's just about the kiss.
Yes,
Yes.
and you're reframing it for them. You're making them aware of, why is it that you're tired this morning? You know, what happened last night? That you know, and that, bringing it to their conscious mind, is very, very powerful for them. Some kids will have it in the conscious mind right away, and some kids need us to verbalize it for them so that they can hear it as well. They experience it, they see it, they hear it, using all the different senses that they have.
But
Anyway,
remember,
I
their
could
brains are
go.
very smaller. Yeah, no, we're going to continue this, but their brains are a lot smaller. And remember, just because you've understood this and you've understood us does not mean that they're going to. Give yourself grace, give them more grace. W- Definitely hearts out. Everybody, keep doing it, keep self regulating. Just
Yes,
give yourself the time. We know that this world needs a lot more of us kinder people. We need more
right.
showing that
Yes.
love.
Love yourself enough to let that ripple effect of love affect your families, your loved ones, and when you're ready, the outside world. Woohoo! Awesome. Okay, see you tomorrow when we continue on. I don't even know what we're doing tomorrow. I haven't looked it up, so it's a surprise. Come and see me tomorrow, and Christian will most likely be there. But it's not about fixing your kids, it's about listening to them attentively. You've got this. I believe you can. If Christian can,